Hi, this is Curtis from Beyond Backtesting, and today we're going to be talking about the state of trading platforms, the state of trading applications in 2022, and why I'm still left using Multicharts, Tradestation, and NinjaTrader 8. So these are the three primary platforms we're going to be talking about. I will mention some other platforms and at the end, but primarily we're going to talk about Tradestation, Multicharts, NinjaTrader 8. And looking at the pros and cons of each of these strong platforms. So Tradestation, we're going to start with Tradestation. The number one thing about this platform, the real strength of it is the integrated data. The data is very strong. I don't know how far the tick data goes back, but at least the intraday data is very strong. It comes in very fast. It's just very easy to get set up and get started back testing with Tradestation. So for the data, you got to give it probably a 9 to 10 or an 8 to 10. It'd be nice to have some tick data, some order book data, but that's not typical on retail platforms. So data going to give it an 8 to 10, maybe an 8.5 to 10 actually. The next thing is about the scripting, right? And it has easy language. And easy language is the most productive way I've found for prototyping and building systems. Now, in the background, I have some of my charting up from my multi-charts and the rhythmic up. I thought it'd be interesting to see. I don't think I'm showing any I just have a paper account up. I don't think I'm showing any broker information on that. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see kind of what I'm playing with, some of my charting layouts and things. But yeah, going back to the scripting, easy language is, I am a professional C# developer, used to do a lot of C++, and even so, easy language is just more productive for building trading systems than most of the other stuff I've seen. So in terms of rapid development, we'll call it RAD. I'm going to give this an 8.5 to 10 as well. The one downside to scripting in Tradestation is that more recently they've added a lot of features, and even some of the features they had going back before do not work the same as they do in the backtesting as the live. That requires a code conversion. So that's a downside. You always want everything to work the same in the live as in the backtesting, where you have to do a recode. So that's a downside of the easy language and the scripting is it's not exactly the same. Some of the other platforms, some platforms have that ability to go straight from testing to live. That's what you really want. Also, it doesn't have event. It has some event-driven stuff, but it's not backtestable. So in terms of power, I'm going to give that a 7 to 10. Although I will say there are easy language experts who can do most anything, but that power is not as much as you would like in some cases. Okay, especially with the backtest. Okay. So in terms of power, in terms of easy use, rapid is really strong. In terms of power, not so much. Because they're making some new lows here in the market, I took a scalp just a little bit ago off those prior lows. I thought they might held for a couple hours or maybe the day, but apparently not. Not the whole day, but for a while. So anyway, okay, scripting. Okay, let's talk about charting. Tradestation charting is outdated, is antiquated. The good thing about Tradestation, though, it has very good windowing support. So you can put a lot of charts up if you want to manage a lot of trade systems. So charting, I will say charting graphics, you'll have to give that a 6 to 10. That's really even the new Tradestation edition is really poor. Charting in terms of window management, though, I'm going to give that an 8 to 10. It's strong. Okay. It's going on. Okay, I may come back to some of this. Okay, as we go through, I think about different things. But community. Okay, support. The official support has been poor last year or so. I'm about to give that a 4.10. I was on the phone with the trade desk for an hour at one point with a hung trade. Official support's not good. Community support has a strong community support, okay, and so gonna have to give that a 8 to 10, okay. We'll come back to some of these things. Replay doesn't have it, so it's a 0 to 10. 64-bit, modern architecture, so to speak. Multi-threading. It's outdated, 32 bits. So give that, give that a 0-10. Give that a 4-10 in terms of its power. Another thing to be aware of is I don't think it's appropriate for frequent day trading of stocks. For whatever reason, it slows down. I have one of the fastest PCs out, and had another workstation that did the same thing. I built one of the i9s, fastest PC out, and it still slows down when multi-threading. When placing many trades per day, if you try to do a lot of frequent trading, the orders just slow down. It becomes almost unusable. I don't know what the problem is. It's very bizarre to me, really. But for equities frequent trading, I'm just going to say it's not appropriate. Just as an FYI. I'd be interested to hear from traders who do day trade on Tradestation equities. How do you get around those slowdowns? What do you do? Are you just not placing as many orders? Is there some number of orders where it kicks in? I don't know. Are you using the older 9.5 edition? I don't think it's as much of an issue with futures, but certainly for equities, you see that. What else? We may come back to this. We're going to go on to, costs, right, commissions. They're higher than industry average. And with the force support, you really feel like you're not getting your value. And the fact they're not updating the platform, it's not to give the commissions a 5 or 10. It's really not on par, not competitive. Okay. Really, though, the strong point of Tradestation is that data, is that good scripting, and the window management. You can put a lot of different windows up, on charts and things. It's really good for rapid prototyping. It's very productive, right? Getting things done in terms of building systems and things. I'm going to Multicharts, and Multicharts is very similar to Tradestation in many ways. Data, it has a very strong advanced data support. It supports IQ feed. It supports rhythmic. So in terms of power, I'm going to have to give that a 9 to 10. It supports Tradestation. However, in terms of ease of use, I've had some just bizarre problems with the data. Support's always been very helpful, and in terms of trying to get me help, but it's just not as easy to use. It's that complexity, that power comes with some cost. I'll have to give that 7 to 10. One of the things you'll see too is that when I'm in Tradestation, I don't know if it's a configuration thing or what, but if I want to pull in some data to backtest with, it's very fast. If I can pull in a lot of data fast, you pull in from the same data feed, and then in Multicharts, it's slower. So I don't know if it's throttled or what, but you just see just more data. It's just more work to do data in Multicharts. You do have IQ feed, you do have different providers, but just for ease of use, I just prefer Tradestation for data. So you get a 7 on that. So I guess it averages out to 8.5. Okay, scripting, you got Power Language, okay? Power Language is almost like Easy Language. It's pretty much essentially the same. You can take systems back and forth almost with no change. There are some additions with Easy Language object-oriented that gives a little more power than Power Language, actually. So I'm going to give this an 8 to 10. It's almost as good as Easy Language. That's made of the same benefits. In terms of scripting power, it's probably going to be fairly similar. I'm going to give it a 6 to 10 because I don't know if all the new object-oriented stuff works. Okay, instead of a 7 to 10. And charting, in terms of graphics, the charts, you can see Multicharts behind me. The charting in Multicharts is very good, very solid. It's not the best, but it's really solid. So I'm going to give the charting graphics an 8 to 10. Okay. Charting in terms of window support, it's really good. You can have multiple windows, multiple layouts. So I'm going to give that an 8 to also an 8 to 10 on the window support. Okay, the official support is good. You get a fast response from 8 to 10. The community support, however, is lacking, in my opinion. The message boards, there's not much activity. Part of that may be because people go to Tradestation, message boards or whatever, but the community support's just not as strong. I'll have to give that a 6 to 10. Okay, 64-bit. It is 64-bit, so you're going to give that 8 to 10. Okay. Commissions, you can trade on many different brokers. You can trade on AMP, which is a discount broker. I've always traded on AMP for a long time. Never had any problems with them. going to give that a 9 to 10 on commission support. They are looking at supporting. This is from the futures side. Now, on the equities side, they're adding support, I think, for Thinkorswim and some other brokers. So that could always be improved in terms of the support, but it's pretty good. Okay. So yeah, Multicharts. You see it. Multicharts is just almost like a better Tradestation. It's just that data. The reason I still use Tradestation is because you do have some of that object-oriented scripting, and also because that integrated data is a lot of times it's just faster. If I'm going to Tradestation, do some fast. If I want to do something quick and easy, if I'm not going to do a lot of optimizing or anything, then Tradestation a lot of times it's quicker to pull up in Tradestation, do my test. If I'm going to be doing like heavy back testing, optimizing, more work where I'm using the processor, or if I'm setting up charts for for potentially different types of day trading charts, more advanced charting, I'm going to Multicharts. Okay. Now replay. Let's talk about replay. Multicharts has a semi-decent replay. The problem is you can't place any trades in the replay. So it's almost like it would be really nice if they could let you place trades in it. So for that reason, give it a 5 or 10 because you can't place trades in it. It's like you built this replay function out, but you can't really use it. And so now we get to NinjaTrader. Okay, now NinjaTrader is going to be interesting. NinjaTrader 8. Okay, so the data. I'm gonna say I've had less trouble with setting up data feeds in NT8 than I have in Multicharts in terms of getting things to work. I don't know about the support. I think it's pretty similar. I'm just gonna give it an 8.5 on the data. I've not had many problems with it. In terms of scripting, okay, you have C#, which is great. C# is my favorite programming language. The problem is so that I should be like I should be like right at home building trade stations in NT8. The problem is just not as efficient. I mean, I've built both. I did both, and you take something I can prototype in Tradestation, 1 or 2 lines of code becomes a lot more code in NT8, a lot more work to test it out. I don't feel the same confidence I often get the same results or similar results back testing, but I just never feel as confident when I'm using that for back testing. So I'm going to have to give that, in terms of easy use and rapid prototyping, a 6 to 10. The good thing about it, I'll give it a 7 to 10, but it's really just not as good for rapid. You can use Visual Studio and professional tools, so that's good. Now, in terms of power, right? I'm going to have to give that a 8 to 10. It's more powerful than, in my opinion, than the easy language. So we'll give it a 6 to 10 on the use and 8 to 10 on the ease, and on the power, give it an 8 to 10. Because you do have true event-driven scripting. Okay. Well, let's go to the charting, the graphics. This is pretty close call, but I think the graphics are probably a notch up in NT8 over Multicharts. So some things I like in Multicharts better in terms of being able to configure the charts and stuff. It seems a little easier, a little faster than NT8's interface. But the graphics just seem a little slicker, so I'm going to give it a 9 to 10. Okay. Here's the big kicker for me. Charting in terms of window management in NT8 is really terrible. There is no other trading platform out there that has such a poor window management that's for any type of application I know of. And I think they were probably, when they built it, they were probably thinking about multi-monitor use and support. But the reality is today, you have 4K monitors. You have 8K monitors, but you certainly have 4K monitors, and you can have very large monitors, even TVs, 50 inches, 55 inches. What's more important, multi-monitor support is, useful, but I think what's even more important is having a good ability to get to your charts quickly and do multi-symbol analysis. And this is where NinjaTrader 8 really falls down. It's really, even third-party window management software doesn't do a good job with it. Usually, a lot of times it's not compatible. I think it's a 2 or 10. It just really falls down to window management. They do have some tabs and things, but it's just really not standard. It's like look at Multicharts, look at Tradestation, look at what's that equities trading charting package. Can't think of the name of it. But, this is not something that's new. You don't need to be doing something different in this. Just copy what other people do because you're not doing it better. That's my opinion, okay? But it really makes it hard to use if you're going to be having lots of, systems and charts up and things. And, if you're going to be a multi-symbol trader. Now, what you can do with Windows 11, Windows 10 to some extent, Windows 11, they do have virtual desktops, and you can maybe set different virtual desktops and things, maybe work around it. It's just something that you shouldn't have to be dealing with, right? You should be able to have basic charting layout, just like Multicharts or Tradestation, or there's another one that's used, has a really nice charting. A lot of professional equities traders use it. Can't think of the name of it. I'm not considering it here because it's just a charting application. But yeah, so for charting, this is the big thing, because this window management is a big thing for me. It could be good in every other area and have this, and it's like, that's the problem. Okay, so let's go on. Support, facial support's always been good for me. I'm looking at 8 to 10. Community support's really strong on this one. I'll give this a 9 to 10. Okay, strong community. Okay, commissions. This is kind of a mixed model. If you're a new user, you use an NT8 broker. If you're a former user, you have the ability to use different brokers. If you're grandfathered in, so it's kind of a mixed model. So I'm going to give that probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's not, Multicharts is a true multi-broker. NT8 now doesn't support, NinjaTrader has their own brokerage. They bought Tradevate as well. So now they have the strongest replay. And let's get to the replay. Why do you still go back to NT8, right? Why am I still going back to NT8? Right here's the replay. Market replay, they have, I've said they could have made it better in the past, but the reality is they have the best replay. They give that 9 out of 10, and owning Tradevate now, they have the best replays in the business. They're very much ahead of anyone else in terms of replay. And that's very important, because replay is how you can trade without risking your own money. So it's a big deal. Okay, this right here is a big deal, real big deal. And you don't have that Multicharts and Tradestation. Now let's go to what else? Okay, so that's so that's why I go back to NinjaTrader 8. Is because of that replay. And that also goes to backtesting too. If you're backtesting tick-based systems, that replay can be very useful to see exactly how it would work. It's more going to give you a very good insight that you don't necessarily get from Tradestation and Multicharts. So yeah, you get your true multi-broker with Multicharts. It's almost looks like a better Tradestation. It doesn't have quite as ease of use of the data side, but you get more power, you get more data capabilities. Tradestations, you're all around your kind of like your ease of use. From ease of use standpoint, it's the easiest, but no replay. No 64-bit architecture. Has a lot of limitations. So you look at Multicharts. Now, one thing I haven't talked about is portfolios, right? Portfolios. One of the reasons I bought Multicharts is because of portfolio support. I don't got time to go into that now. I know that Andre Unger, World Cup champion, uses it. I know commodity trading advisors who use it to manage million-dollar portfolios. So it certainly can do that because professionals use it. However, it's not as nice as what I would like in terms of managing positions. We don't got time to go into that, but that's one of the primary reasons I've bought it. I can't really compare it to the others. I know NT8, I believe, has a better virtual position management system for systems run on the same chart. But I don't know about in terms of the entire portfolio capabilities, so I'm not going to say to that. I'm not going to rank that. And I know Tradestation has a portfolio functionality too, so I don't really want to get into that, but that's something important if you're going to be running multiple systems. So yeah, this is kind of the breakdown of what the platforms are. I think in terms of one of the reasons I went, in terms of extendability, also you got to give NinjaTrader 8 the edge on this, because it is the more open platform, more extendable. Anytime I've been extending a platform, it's typically been NT8 because it's more extendable. I would probably be, one of the reasons I went away from NT8 was simply because of window management. If NinjaTrader 8 would fix the window management and give us a real window management, then I may just consider going to NT8. In terms of everything else, Multicharts pretty much does it for me, except for the lack of the replay. Okay, if Multicharts would give us a real powerful replay capability, I might just go to Multicharts, right? Tradestation has a lot of work to do because they're pretty much lacking in everything except for the data. I don't know what they'd have to do for me to go to be exclusively Tradestation, but But in terms of multi-charts versus NT8, basically it's that replay and the windowing, and these are very strong differences in capabilities. With the window charting, it's NT8's not just weak in this area; it's just pretty much just abysmal. At the same time, multi-charts, you can't place any trades in the replay. So this is kind of the thing. So what I'm having to do is and why would I want to be in multi-charts versus NT8 anyway, right? One of the reasons is simply because I can backtest prototype faster, and I've been wanting to go toward more like gray box systems and stuff. And I built a gray box system for NT8 with the Beyond Bot, and I've had a lot of positive response from that. But I wanted something I could just go straight from my easy language while I do my development straight to my kind of like my gray box systems, right? No conversion, no nothing. But reality is I'm still having to convert that. So that's why I'm still stuck using all three platforms, is because this doesn't have the replay and this doesn't have the window management. So yeah, some other platforms real quick in terms of state of things. There is MotiveWave. I think it's a cross-platform PC Mac. I don't use Mac, so it's not an issue. It's built on Java, and one of the things, and it uses Eclipse editor. I don't use any of that stuff. I'm like, you have to compile. Technically have to compile in NT8, but it has its built-in scripting. One of the things I like about Tradestation and Multicharts is you have that scripting that's built in. I just felt like the scripting wasn't as built in, and I didn't see, charting slick, all this stuff, but it just wasn't enough for me to consider it. You also have WebFlab. Used to be exclusive to Fidelity customers with a $100,000 account. Used to be a very strong platform before they went Fidelity exclusive for U.S. customers. Right? I think European customers could still buy the WebFlab product. It's a very it has had support over the years, so it's a very interesting platform. I really don't know what it can do, but it's going to take me a lot to get out of the so-called easy language ecosystem, power language. Not really interested in moving from that, although I do. With WebFlab, I used it a long time ago, and I really liked it. So something worth watching, but probably doesn't have the. It's probably not going to be enough to move me from easy language, given how much you already have an easy language. It's going to be a strong. Have to really offer something really strong advantages. So yeah, that's kind of the state of things. Yeah, so overall, NT8 is really strong. It's really super slick charting. Maybe the best charting. A few things I like better in Multicharts in terms of setting things up. It's a little easier and faster, but probably NT8 they both have workflow charts and things. You do have that replayability though, so that's really important if you're going to be doing any type of discretionary trading. Tradestation, right? Has the data, good for quick back testing, prototyping. Multicharts has almost everything. Maybe not the best, but it's kind of all around winner, but the replay is lacking. So this is kind of the state of things. Let me know what you think. If there's another platform out there that you think's worth mentioning, but this is kind of how I'm doing things. I use them. Why am I still using all these? How am I still using all these? For Tradestation, rapid prototyping, quick backtest, Multicharts if I'm going to be doing optimizations or more extensive backtesting, or also I use it for my charting, for my real-time trading, in most of the cases. And then NT8, I'm converting to that to do replay, and I may eventually go to that for just switch back to that also. Because of the extendability, I had the Beyond Bot on it, so it may be something I end up switching back. And so yeah, I wanted to have everything pipelined into one thing, but it's just not happening that way. So that's the state of things in 2022 in terms of trading platforms. In terms of the ones that I'm aware of, let me know if there's something I'm missing, if there's something that you think may be worth mentioning or looking at. But hope it's interesting. Thanks.